Jimmy Jingles, and I've been demoted to lead anchor. First they tell me I can't smoke on the air. Okay, so I quit smoking. Then they tell me I'm rambling on and on. So they want me to try reading the headlines. Okay, let's try it out. Don't worry, man. I think this will work better. It's not a demotion. You've been great. We're just trying something different. But look, before we say anything else, I know it's totally off topic, but I have to mention that I heard Metallica's new song that came out today, Moth into Flame. I mean, just freaking amazing. I don't want to spend too much time on it. It's a Liverpool show, but I'm just so happy today. I was listening to it all morning driving around. Those are the 4 most badass dudes on the planet right now, period. And anyone who doesn't like this song, there's just something wrong with you. Get to a doctor and get yourself fixed. Jamming out to a bit of Metallica jingles, are we then? Okay, well maybe I'll give it a listen after work. Well, we are back after a bit of a hiatus, as last week's show didn't get on the air. As you saw that little thing we put up before the show. We want to apologise to our fans who are waiting for a new show, and to the FA Premier League for the mishap. Well, yes, we do apologise, because we didn't own the rights to some of the material, which was just a few clips from the game, really. But I kind of think the FA might have just been a little embarrassed, because we really put Sky Sports and NBC to shame with our breakdown of the Liverpool-Chelsea game last week. Oh, you put Sky Sports to shame, eh? Just like Metallica put everyone who makes music to shame, huh? Well, not quite. I mean, maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit about our show from last week, but Metallica is actually miles better than everyone else. Miles better. Right. But all I was saying about our show is that Sky and NBC own all this footage, but they're not really doing anything with it. Like, plenty of people come home from work and would like to see the game presented in different, interesting, unique ways, which would surely help grow the audience even bigger. I mean, there should be tactical analysis and breakdown of football matches all day long. But instead, all they do is put a replay of the whole match on their website, and maybe highlights of just the goals, but whatever. It's not our footage. I don't want to talk about this all day. I'm over it. Let's move on. All right, we had 2 wins for Liverpool this week. Are you sure you're done? Yes, I'm done. Let's move on. Talking about ranting and raving. Calm down there, laddie. How about we just let it go and move on with the show, eh? No need to start any trouble there. I said I'm over it, man. I swear I'm not trying to start trouble. I'm just giving my opinion. Well, let's just start this week's show then. Welcome to Walk On, the Liverpool Football Club Week in Review show. Liverpool start out the week travelling north after their Premier League win against Chelsea in London last Saturday. They moved on to Derbyshire to take on Championship side Derby County. Derby, with a very poor run of form so far this season, with only 1 win from their 8 league matches up till that point, dancing dangerously around that relegation line that, if caught below it, could see a once proud English powerhouse go down to the 3rd tier of English football. Their last league match saw them concede a goal 4 minutes into injury time, so they had to settle for a 1-1 draw at Bristol City. They reached the last 32 of the English Football League Cup by squeaking by 4th tier side Grimsby Town in the first round, and then winning a dramatic penalty shootout that ended 14-13 against another 4th tier opponent, that one being Carlisle United. Liverpool entered the competition in the second round with a comfortable 5-0 victory against another struggling Championship side, Burton Albion, with Divock Origi, Roberto Firmino and Daniel Sturridge all getting on the score sheet. Liverpool's summer signing from Red Star Belgrade, the Serbian Marko Grujic got a start in place of Georgino Wijnaldum, and Lucas got his first start as a holding midfielder as he'd been filling in at centre-back mostly this season. Roberto Firmino was back after recovering from a slight groin pull as Sadio Mane rested for this one. And Divock Origi got a start as well, with Daniel Sturridge taking the day off after coming off in the Chelsea game. Liverpool's hard-working left-back, vice-captain James Milner, also got the night off, with the much-maligned Alberto Moreno getting a chance to showcase. Pretty strong side here. Definitely not a B squad, as Derby got some respect here from Liverpool just based on the team sheet that Klopp wrote out. Mane, Wijnaldum, Lallana, Milner all sat out for rest, but still a lot of quality in the side. Interestingly though, Loris Karius got a start, his first start of the season in goal after breaking a bone in his hand this preseason. Klopp doesn't want to say for sure who his outright number one keeper is, but I gotta think Karius is gonna get a run here. He comes from Mainz, Klopp's old team in Germany, and although Klopp never publicly takes favorites or lists his pecking order, I think this is going to be one of those Alberto Moreno situations where, although he won't criticize Moreno to the press, he obviously favors Milner and has picked him for all the important matches. And Karius had some bad luck to get injured in the preseason tour at that game in Pasadena, but he was expected to be the starter for the season opener and probably deserves a chance to compete for the job. Although Simone Mignolet made some great saves this season, like against Leicester City in particular, Liverpool haven't kept a clean sheet yet in the Premier League. Karius is not gonna be too tested against Derby County, but it was a good chance for him to get his feet wet. So this match ended 3-0. A very comfortable victory for Liverpool. Anything stand out to you before we move on to the big Premier League clash against Hull City at the weekend? Well, I noticed Jordan Henderson getting a more starring role in midfield with Wijnaldum and Lallana not in the lineup, playing more right behind the front three where Lallana has been playing all year. But this was a good warm-up match for the Premier League game against Hull because Derby were very much looking to just sit back and counter, which has been Liverpool's Achilles heel for some time now. Liverpool are great when it's open match, going back and forth, but they can't really they haven't been able to find ways to squeeze through small spaces when an opponent packs in and is only concentrating on defense. Derby would have been more than happy to hang on to 0-0 as long as they could and hopefully get it to penalties, but luckily that didn't happen. Moreno actually looked good early as they were mostly going forward, so he had nothing to defend, which was good for him. Derby had no chance going forward, no numbers at all, and the ball was taken from them easily at every pass. But Liverpool actually struggled a bit to get through early as Derby County were very, very compact. They were conceding the wider areas, and Liverpool settled for a couple of long shots. Those can go in sometimes, but that's not really what we're looking for here. The goal is to get much higher percentage shots by carving through 10 guys who are sitting back and looking only to plug gaps and not let anyone through. I noticed also Liverpool don't go over the top very often with their passes, much more often keep the ball on the ground. I think of the goal that Luis Suarez scored against Celtic to humiliate Celtic in the Champions League this year, as he took the ball coming over the top with his chest and just turned and smashed it in. That was a clinic because Celtic were looking to sit back the same way, but Barcelona found tons of ways to score. Or the goal Argentina scored against the United States in the Copa America semis this year completely surprised the US, over the top, just schooled them. And this is one aspect of the game that I don't see Liverpool players trying, as they play these defensive sides, so they haven't really been keeping these defenses honest. Let's go to the big screen here and check out an example of what I'm talking about. All right, so here's the 10th minute of the game as Jordan Henderson makes this deep run into the box. Coutinho can dump in a little pass between the defense and the goalkeeper here, and if Henderson finds himself with the ball behind the defense, that just shakes things up and opens up possibilities. Instead, that thought didn't cross Coutinho's mind at all, and he just tries to shove it through on the ground and it goes behind Henderson's run. But Liverpool have the way they play, I guess, and that's not in their bag of tricks at the moment. Regardless, the breakthrough comes, finally, in the 24th minute. It took a while as Liverpool worked a lot of possession around the back. Klein then used that space Derby were giving them on the wings to get a cross in and win a corner. Awful defending from Derby in the box. Richard Keogh whiffs at the clearance, and defender Ragnar Klavan puts away an easy chance for his first goal of the season. Good job working the wings for Liverpool, but that's still not the goal they want in the run of play against a team sitting back. Karius also had to deal with the ball finally at the end of the first half in injury time. Henderson's giveaway led to a Derby through ball to their forward Darren Bent. Karius rushed out for the ball outside the box and slid to clear it. He was very decisive and quick to get there. Indecisiveness has been the main criticism of Simon Mignolet. Although Liverpool are in good position in the Premier League, Mignolet is seen as a weakness, and Karius could be opportunistic to make that position his own. And to top it off, Karius started the ball going up the other side of the field. Critical error from Henderson could have let Derby back into the match after they showed absolutely nothing for the entire half, but good showing from Karius. The 50th minute saw Liverpool finally squeeze through a little bit of space in the run of play as Firmino found Coutinho on the give and go. But again, more bad defending from Derby. Same guy, Richard Keogh, the captain, just gives Firmino too much space and time, too much respect as he backs off. He needed to get on him and at least act like he was going to try to win the ball. If he really thought Firmino was going to go past him, okay, but he still has to close down space and then rely on his teammates for help. But when you give him this much time and space, he can find Coutinho's run. Hits it on a dime, and Coutinho puts it away. Good finish in the box. Klopp has certainly done a good job of getting Coutinho into the box from his wide starting position. Under Brendan Rodgers, we really only saw Coutinho cutting in to take one of those long-range miracle shots. But this one coming from the penalty spot, it's a much higher percentage shot. The game was over at this point. And then Liverpool's third came as Derby were playing higher up the field, looking to get back into it. They were facing elimination, so they had to. Origi had much more space to work with at that point as he got a through ball from Coutinho and fired it into the roof of the net. Very nice finishing from Origi. Good to see him put the ball in the net, as the team might need him, with Liverpool fans around the world always on constant pins and needles over the fitness of Daniel Sturridge. You would think Liverpool would have had more chances on the break late in the match to run up the score, but Derby didn't have the ball enough for that to happen. A couple of half breaks, but Derby were very careful. About the players who featured looking to earn more playing time, because of the quality of the opposition, it was hard to really figure who should get some Premier League game time. Marko Grujic, his passes were on target, and he was more than willing to help on defense, but his tackling could use some work. He gave away way too many free kicks. Lucas was solid as always when all he's asked to do is defend. Moreno got crosses off from the left, but really didn't show he deserved to take his spot back from James Milner. Danny Ings showed his usual pace and bulldog energy getting up the field. Amre Khan got some time coming on for Jordan Henderson. That's an interesting one because we all know his quality, but Klopp hasn't been able to find anyone to drop in his favor, with Henderson, Wijnaldum, and Lallana all playing very well. Derby was just trying to save face at the end and not let Liverpool run up the scoreline, and Liverpool weren't really going to kill themselves to embarrass Derby with Hull City coming up in 4 days. Liverpool youngster Ovi Ejaria also got a run out for the last 15 minutes, coming on as a midfielder for forward Roberto Firmino, and that effectively put a clamp down on the storyline and the scoreline. The storyline and the scoreline. The scoreline mostly. Wow. I asked if anything stood out to you, but that was pretty thorough. Thanks for all that good work. Well, the draw for the round of 16 is already out. Nothing but Premier League and Championship sides left. Liverpool have been drawn at home against Spurs. That match will take place on Tuesday, October 25th. So mark your calendars for that one. Should be a good one. The two Manchester clubs have also been drawn together in another juicy encounter that Liverpool fans can sit back and enjoy, as one will be eliminated on that day. Okay, let's wrap up our thoughts about the League Cup. Firstly, how seriously will Liverpool be taking this tournament, as they also have to concentrate on Premier League matches and achieving a top 4 finish? And also, what do you expect to see from the Liverpool-Spurs match, a match that we've already seen this season? Well, Liverpool look like they're going to take this tournament seriously. It's a good chance at silverware if they're not going to win the Premier League. And if they're going to take one of the two cups seriously, I would say it should be this one. Because with the FA Cup, there's replays when you draw, so it takes much more effort to win. Plus, you'll be playing FA Cup matches late into the season, when they'll also have to be playing Premier League games down the wire, and I expect the race for top 4 to be a pretty close one. So it'll be important for Liverpool to be fresh for those matches. So if I were to guess, I think we'll see more of the same, as Klopp will try to play a lot of his regulars in the EFL Cup matches, and maybe we'll see more reserve players when the FA Cup comes around. But I could be wrong. Maybe we'll just see him keep rotating like he has been all season long. But if you ask any Liverpool fan, forget the two cups. We want the highest league position possible. And with no Europe to worry about this season, it's the biggest opportunity for a high league position since they basically won it in 2014. As far as Tottenham, Liverpool struggled late in that match at White Hart Lane after a great start. They got a little tired and couldn't convert chances on the break, but this game will be at Anfield. Spurs have a lot of Champions League games coming up along with the league. I don't think this will be as high a priority for them. We could possibly see them put out a weakened side based on what situation they find themselves in. And Harry Kane just went down with an injury, but he could possibly be back by then. It's too early to tell. We'll have to wait until the week before and then reassess what these teams can look like for that night. Well, alright. Good stuff. We'll be back and talk about the match of the week as Liverpool played host to Hull City this past Saturday. We are back. So Liverpool's league match this week was against Hull City, a match all Liverpool fans have been looking forward to with peak interest. After wins against defending champions Leicester City, Chelsea Football Club and Arsenal, Liverpool fans have been cautiously optimistic as mid-table side Hull City comes to town. Liverpool have been extremely impressive against top sides, but have continued to struggle this season against smaller sides, as a shocking loss to Burnley have repressed Liverpool's title hopes. This match was a pivotal turning point in the season for Liverpool. You even said last week yourself, Jimmy Jingles, that this match may be more important than the Chelsea game. Can Liverpool pull 3 points from a team who will be very negative and look only to stifle at the back and counter if possible? And until Liverpool can consistently get past teams only looking to defend, they cannot be considered anywhere near title contenders, or even top 4 contenders for that matter. Let's go over the starting lineups. Liverpool came in with a very similar team they took to Stamford Bridge a week earlier, except Dejan Lovren is out with a viral infection, so Ragnar Klavan keeps his spot after starting the match midweek at Derby County. Also, Daniel Sturridge is fit enough to start on the bench. Firmino will lead the line. First teamers Mane, Lallana and Wijnaldum are also back in the side. The bench is just stacked. Mignolet, Lucas, Moreno, Amre Can, Grugic, Origi and Sturridge. That's the start of a very good team, right? Hull City was captained by their centre-back Curtis Davies, 4-5-1 here for them. The midfield is going to support the defense and maybe send 1 or 2 players to support Abel Hernandez if they find themselves on the break. Well, let's get into the meat of it then, Kay. Tell us what happened. Well, Hull weren't quite as compact as Derby County were, and were out to cover the wings. And they were sending a couple players forward even on the counter whenever they could, but Milner and Clavon did a very good job not getting caught at the back, and Liverpool were pressing all the way forward. But just like in the Chelsea game, everyone knows this is coming now. It's like an avalanche, so there's no surprises, and these teams come ready to pass out of the press. Liverpool will accept if they don't win balls in their own half pressing forward, because it's still very disorienting to teams, and Liverpool are willing to defend with just the numbers they need at the back, forcing teams into sort of a rushed play and winning the ball at the back if they have to. Let's go to the monitor and take a look at some pictures. Alright, so here's the second minute. Liverpool will push up the field and Hull will try to pass out of the back whenever they can and catch Liverpool at the back. But Liverpool have players in the right position to win the ball back off a rush cross. When teams get the ball out of the back against Liverpool, they're so excited that sometimes they feel the need to rush to score because they know more pressure is coming. Hull not looking for the best options here, just kind of rushing to surprise Liverpool. In the 9th minute, Liverpool were at the doorstep as Sadio Mane gets around the defense. The pass comes from Lallana, who is in between the defense and the midfield. In the end, it falls to Coutinho, and he can't get a good touch on it to finish, and Hull cleared off the line. It's interesting what they did there, but it's more apparent in this next play where we'll see their first goal. Let's jump right to it. Here's the 17th minute. So here's what Hull are doing. They're not sitting all the way completely back and welcoming Liverpool into the box. You can see Hull's midfielder Ryan Mason closes in on Coutinho. He doesn't want him having, any time to zero in on a good pass. For the most part, Hull are back defending, and it's Liverpool who have to get through. But this has been the main issue for them. With 9 defenders back guarding the goal, there's just less room to work, and it's easier for the defense to close in on the ball and scramble it away. But this is the key right here. Once they get into this area between the midfield and the Hull defense, they have to work quickly. And that's what was different from this Liverpool side and ones that struggled against sides that crowd around the box. They finally come to understand that since there are defenders very close to whoever has the ball, you have less time until someone is right on you. So you better get rid of it and get the ball into the net before you have 3 or 4 guys surrounding you. So this all happened very quickly. Coutinho sees Mason coming, and he knows he's going to knock the ball away if he doesn't get rid of it. He sees the space in front of the defense and figures he's going to go around Mason with a give and go with James Milner on the left. Coutinho was so clever and skillful here. He masterfully uses this change of direction. One instant it looks like he's going to try to shield the ball from Mason, who's going to try to go around him and win the ball at his feet. But Coutinho can feel him on his shoulder, and he uses this little Brazilian guile to completely lose him. In that one step, Mason is so faked out, he goes flying the other way. Completely schooled him right there. He's out of the play. So now the fact that Hull had one eye on the counter hurt them here, as Tom Huddlesfield was itching to get on the counter to help his number 9 if they won the ball on that play. But they didn't. If they were really playing with focus, with all their focus on keeping the ball out of their net, he should have been up here keeping an eye on Lallana. But he's too far forward and he can't help coming back. Coutinho again here. He's in between the defense and the midfield, so he only has a little bit of time before the midfield is back to help. He sees Firmino take the 2 central defenders with him. They see Firmino go offside, so they come back to try to stop Coutinho's pass, but he already drew enough attention to give Coutinho some space to get a pass off. With the 2 center backs recovering to get to Coutinho's pass, he sees Lallana is left all alone with Hull City's left back Andrew Robertson, and he squeezes the pass in. Davies and Livermore fall all over themselves trying to stop his pass. He gets the ball to Lallana. Lallana traps the ball with his right foot, and just decides to let it fly with his left. One touch on the first touch. Gives Hull no time whatsoever to recover. Quick, bang, bang play. Hull don't know what hit them, and their goalkeeper just stands there and watches the ball go in. Can't believe what's going on. What is going on with Lallana? I can't believe the finishing this season. Jurgen Klopp is really working wonders, improving this team on a big problem they had under Brendan Rodgers, which was finishing. They could get chances around the area, but you would never expect to see Adam Lallana score like this. Getting that ball in the net is really what football is all about, and Liverpool are doing that. And if Premier League teams are watching Liverpool, they're going to start to realize that Liverpool players don't really care which foot they're on, and they'll just let it fly. Sadio Mane already scored a great goal this season with his left foot against Arsenal, and Milner has been getting pretty good crosses off with his left foot, and teams are not going to know what to do with Liverpool. Here, Andrew Robertson is so sure Lallana's going to go for the left post with his right foot, and he flies past him trying to block that. Instead, Lallana goes for the right post with his left foot. Everybody's completely stunned at the bite that this offense possesses. David Marshall, the goalkeeper, is so surprised he doesn't even dive for the ball. He's just standing there. Honestly, it wasn't a hard shot, and Lallana kind of scuffed it. A better keeper may have gotten to it. It's hard to say. He definitely at least should have dived. He's just standing there like this. What? That's pretty disappointing for him. Great job from Lallana, though, putting it on target with his off foot. Very opportune finishing. That play worked out wonderfully, I must say. They've gotten through their biggest hurdle, which was getting a goal and a lead against the defensive side. With a lead on their home ground against an inferior team, it was pretty smooth sailing from here. Great move by Coutinho off the 1-2 with Milner, and his change of direction got him into space. Firmino freed up Lallana, who finished with his left foot. Good goal, not great defending from Hull in midfield, as Coutinho got away from them too easily and left the rest of the defense alone to the Wolves. In the 22nd, a Klavan giveaway could have led to a Hull chance had Snodgrass not taken such a bad touch. Just wanted to mention that because Lovren is out for this one and Mamadou Sakho may be returning to the squad. This mishap could have led to a goal and changed the complexion of this game. Liverpool's second goal came in the 29th as they had acres of space to work with. Hull got caught at the back as Liverpool stole the ball off a throw-in, got the ball to Mane at the right wing. He waits for some defenders to fly by until he sees Coutinho wide open. Hull were just not prepared to defend on the break. The marking is just completely shambolic. No one is marking Coutinho, and he shoots it into an open net. Hull's right back, Ahmed El Mohammadi, handles the ball, and he gets sent off. I would like to have seen Coutinho bury this into the corner and save them from having to take a penalty, but Coutinho got into great position all the way to the penalty spot, and he puts it on target. James Milner converts the penalty. 2-goal lead now with Hull down to 10 men. Game over. The next few minutes saw Liverpool with at least 3 cracks at the goal, really looking to put the game away. The goal came in the 36th. Lallana found Mane on the box, who just turned around and buried it. Lethal. No joking around. One moment of daylight and it's in the net. Mane hanging around in a good position inside the box. Once he got the ball, he had one thing on his mind, and that was to shoot it as fast as he possibly can. And Liverpool turned on the style at this point. And with Liverpool running up the score against the 10-man side, we're not going to pay much attention to most of the garbage time, but it's worth noting that even with Hull down to 10 men, Liverpool couldn't keep a clean sheet. So with the Karius Mignolet debate raging at goalkeeper, let's take a look at what went wrong for Karius. This is the 51st minute here. Firstly, it was a bad touch from Milner that sent the ball out for the corner, and that led to the goal. So it was technically his fault that it happened, but Milner played extremely well overall. The corner came right to the edge of the 6-yard box. Could Karius have gotten out there to grab it? That's the question. Substitute Harry Maguire bulldozes over Wijnaldum, It drops to another substitute, David Mailer, who hammers it home. So what could Karius have done? If he were to do anything on this play, it would have been to grab the corner kick out of the air. It was 8-on-5 in favor of Liverpool in the box. Wijnaldum definitely got a push in the back from Maguire, but Karius could have climbed over everyone and tried to win this ball. He didn't read the ball that well out of the air, and he hesitated and stayed on his line. Once the ball bounced Hull's way, they were way too close not to score. So no clean sheet again, a lifeline for Hull as they can dream of a miracle. But on the very next possession, Coutinho casts away all doubts as he has enough space for a shot outside the box, and it was a sweet goal. Liverpool conceding a goal woke them up, and they proceeded to handle the rest of this game. This Coutinho goal came in the 52nd. Daniel Sturridge came on for Lallana, and he won a penalty as he was brought down in the box. Milner converted the penalty again. He's 3 for 3 this year, and that's how the game ended, 5-1. A couple extra thoughts I had on the match. Interestingly, after I mentioned in the last segment that I don't often see Liverpool passing over the top of defenses, Adam Lallana tried this pass to Roberto Firmino in the first half's injury time, led to a Wijnaldum shot outside the 6-yard box, and David Marshall made a good save. But if they add this to their repertoire, this attack could become literally one of the world's best. Also, it was interesting for me to see Coutinho play in Lallana's position through the middle for a few minutes after Sturridge came on. He's been doing great, getting into great positions coming off the left, though. But if Lallana were to ever go down or take a night off, it would be interesting if Firmino or Coutinho would take that role. But with Klopp's attack, there's so much interchange between positions, it doesn't really matter really where a player is stationed. But it was interesting to me. It was an impressive victory. This is an encouraging win, because if Liverpool can assert their dominance and score goals against stubborn defenses looking to hold them down, then they could really rack up points and make a push for the top of the league. I'm very impressed with the focus this team is showing, and they are carrying out Jurgen Klopp's tactics right now. I don't want to go so far as to call them a well-oiled machine at this point. I want to see them do it again against Swansea, but they are looking very impressive at the moment. I can't believe how good this team looks. I mean, we've all been working so hard to point out this team's flaws and what they can improve on for so long. It feels kind of unusual to actually see things working. And it's a real shame that Liverpool aren't in the Champions League this year, because they are a pretty scary team to anyone in the world right now. Well, there you have it. Thank you very much for breaking it down for us this week, Mr. K. Not half bad. I'm impressed. That was Liverpool and Hull City's first matchup in the 2016-2017 season. Our friend Steve from Pacific Plate pretty much hit it on the nose last week, predicting a 4-goal victory. I said 2-0, but a win nonetheless. We'll be back to wrap up the show in just a quick moment. Alright, welcome back. And before we look forward to next week's match away to Swansea, we'd like to introduce a new segment we call Old Friends and Turncoats. We're going to go around the world and see what some of our old friends are up to. Former Liverpool players, that is. Old friends and I guess only one enemy. We all know who that is. Liverpool captain and legend Steven Gerrard made his return from injury as LA Galaxy suffered their first loss at home this season to a Clint Dempsey-less Seattle Sounders team. Gerrard came on for the last 18 minutes as he played alongside Landon Donovan and Robbie Keane on a scorching hot day in Los Angeles, but were unable to tame the Sounders as the Sounders overturned a 1-0 deficit to score 4 goals. Gerrard was brought down in the box for a speculative penalty call as Robbie Keane pulled one back for the Galaxy, but that was all as it ended 4-2. It was a heavy blow to LA's bid to earn a first-round bye for the Western Conference playoffs. With only 3 regular season games left, Galaxy find themselves on the outside looking in like they need to run the table in order to bypass MLS playoffs first round. Luis Suarez played in 2 matches for Barcelona this week. failing to score against Atletico Madrid and then getting on the score sheet against Sporting Gijon as Barca won that one 5-0. His Barcelona teammate Javier Mascherano also started the midweek clash versus Atletico at centre-back, and Fernando Torres came on as a substitute for Atletico but was unable to find the net against Barcelona. FC Bayern Munich midfielder Xabi Alonso also got a start midweek against Hertha Berlin as Bayern stayed perfect on their Bundesliga campaign. Kolo Touré started at centre-half for Celtic as they advanced to the Scottish League Cup semi-finals, brushing aside Alloa Athletic in Scotland's second most prestigious knockout tournament. Former Liverpool manager Brendan Rodgers' side then proceeded to hammer Kilmarnock in the league 6-1 as massive Champions League group stage match against Manchester City looms, and Celtic Park will surely be full of life for that one. And our old friend Martin Skrtel is now with Fenerbahce in Turkey. He started both their games last week as the team looked to turn around a poor start to their season and now stand in 7th place. Liverpool traitor Raheem Sterling scored Manchester City's third goal against Swansea to put that one out of reach. Apparently, he impressed, but he still runs like a girl. Now we'll take a minute to take a peek at what's going on with the top clubs around the world. Good to keep tabs on the world's top teams because Liverpool definitely hope to make it back to that summit. Real Madrid had a rough week, dropping points in 2 consecutive matches, drawing at home to Villarreal midweek, and also only managing a draw at Las Palmas at the weekend. Yet they still find themselves atop La Liga as Barcelona could only manage a draw midweek against fellow Spanish powerhouse Atletico Madrid. A game that saw Lionel Messi leave with a groin pull that could see him miss around 3 weeks. It seems an injury that was re-aggravated after initially going down with the same injury in a World Cup qualifying match playing for Argentina against Uruguay earlier this month. But Barcelona still went on to trounce Sporting Gijon 5-0 at the weekend. They will take on German side Borussia Mönchengladbach this week in the Champions League. Atletico rounded out their week with a win over Deportivo La Coruña and will take on Bayern Munich this week in the Champions League. Bundesliga champions FC Bayern Munich won both their games this week against Hertha Berlin and Hamburg SV as they remain perfect in the league through 5 matches. Borussia Dortmund also won both their games against Wolfsburg and Freiburg to keep pace, but remain 3 points back as they suffered a defeat to RB Leipzig early in the campaign. Dortmund will be preparing for a high-profile Champions League showdown with Real Madrid this week. In Italy, Juventus pulled 2 victories last week against Cagliari and Palermo to remain atop Serie A and will travel to Ukraine to face Dynamo Zagreb in Champions League Group H action. And we also have one last segment we will simply call Around EPL. We have to keep a lookout the corner of our eyes to see how our top 4 hopeful rivals are dealing with the rigors of the Premier League. Everton finally suffered their first loss to Bournemouth on the road, who were in desperate need of a win to move away from the relegation zone. Everton came into the weekend second in the table, now dropped to 5th. Spurs came away from Middlesbrough with all 3 points and moved themselves up to second. They will also travel to CSKA Moscow midweek in need of points after losing their first UEFA Champions League group stage match away to French side Monaco. Arsenal impressed at the Emirates, beating a disappointing Chelsea side as they suffered their second straight defeat, and panic may start to set in for Antonio Conte's men. Yeah, Chelsea looked pretty bad against Liverpool. They go down the wings too much, and they aren't very disciplined on defense. They're really struggling right now. Well, I guess time will tell if Antonio Conte's tactics will pan out in the Premier League or if he will have to adapt. They are struggling at the moment, though. Arsenal will also play Champions League football this week at home to Basel. Manchester United enjoyed a 4-1 victory at home over Leicester City and moved up to 6th. United will host Ukrainian side FC Zorya Luhansk as they continue their Europa League campaign. Yeah, Mourinho definitely doesn't want to be in that competition. He may as well just not send out his first team because the way he talks about Europa League, he doesn't respect it, but maybe he'll prove us wrong. Who knows? We'll see. Liverpool moved up to 4th from 6th place with their win, level on points with crosstown rivals Everton. Manchester City led the league going into the weekend and still do after a hard-fought win over Swansea on the road. This will give us a good chance to transition into our last segment as we look ahead to next week's match, also away at Swansea. Man City definitely had trouble with the Swans, game being tied at 1 into the 65th minute. Before we get our scouting report for Swansea, Kay, why don't you tell us what you saw from that game against Manchester City and what should Liverpool be watching out for in order to come away with another big 3 points? Well, Swansea are a club in disarray. I mean, they're only 1 point above the relegation line after 5 seasons in the top flight, and they have new American owners who don't want to see them get relegated this year. Rumors are swirling about that their owners have already met with Bob Bradley, former U.S. men's national team manager. So Francesco Guidolin has to know his head is on the chopping block. This could lead to rash decisions, lineup changes. So we don't know exactly who we could see out there. He made 4 changes to his side in the last match from the previous one where they lost 1-0 to Southampton. But they actually put in a very good showing against Manchester City. So I would guess we'll see a similar game plan. 2 defensive midfielders against a high-powered offense like Liverpool's, Cork and Britain playing in front of the defense. And they'll be more wary of Liverpool's plan to quickly get in between the midfield and defense. So they'll be focused on closing down that space immediately. They showed that early in the game against Man City too. Going forward, they will probably look to have at least 3 players supporting each other when they get near the box. Watch out for the Spaniard Llorente and the Iceland international Gylfi Sigurdsson to work together to catch Liverpool at the back. Llorente is lethal. If Liverpool make any mistakes, he will bury it. Great strike against City last week. Swansea might say that the penalty Van der Hoorn gave up to De Bruyne was a soft one. I will suspect that Francesco Guidolin will keep his faith in the Dutchman and start him alongside Jordi Amat. But Swansea will also have nothing to lose. So if they go down, look for them to just change their strategy and just send numbers forward. I really suspect that we could see another Liverpool thrashing, and it would definitely be really disappointing for the Reds if they don't come out of this with all 3 points. Alright, well, due to reasons already explained earlier, we've had to make some personnel changes, so we'd like to introduce our new sideline reporter, Bobby Chang. Bobby, can you hear us?
Hi, yeah, I can hear you. Listen, I was trying to get a hold of you guys earlier. I rented a car out, like you said, but I can't find this town that you're telling me to go to, Swansea City. I swear, I drove all up and down England. I looked in every town I could see, and I couldn't find Swansea. And I give up. Where is Swansea? I couldn't find it.
Okay, I can't believe we actually found a guy that's worse than the last one. Look, Bob, Swansea is in Wales. You didn't find it in England because it's in Wales.
Wales? Wales? I thought this was the English Premier League. You guys sent me to Swansea City and you don't even tell me that it's in Wales?
Okay, well, thank you, Bobby. Thank you for absolutely nothing. We will be back next week to discuss Liverpool's showdown with Swansea, among other topics, all things Liverpool Football Club.